join us at the start line of the Women's Diamond Jubilee Challenge Cup. Off they go. Wycliffe College B on the left of your screen, the white boat. Tideway Scullers School in that yellow boat on the right of your screen, and they're powering off there.
It's great, isn't that first stroke out of the blocks? It's just that squeeze as you pick up the work, and then in a quad you can accelerate so fast between the four of you. Both crews got away nice and clean, nice and fast. Looks like Scullers slightly got the jump ahead.
You move from that quiet, that moment before the start line, nothing's happening, you're so loose to absolute 100 miles an hour, and Tideway Scullers here, excited to see what they can do. National Schools win, one of the very favourites in this event, and there you go, they're a length up down the island over Wycliffe.
This is also such a crucial part because the steering is often harder at the start. You've got the bank coming in and out, you've got the island on your other side, and you just want to get that dead straight line down the course. Now, with Tideway Scullers getting out ahead, they'll have the whole river opening up ahead of them.
And it's hard, they've gone into this race, you know, this crew here, we're looking at Wycliffe right now, so this is the B crew, incredible to qualify 2 crews in this regatta, the Purple Blades of Wycliffe over in Gloucestershire, doing a really good job there, but they know on the start line they're against the National Schools champions, the Schools Head champions, one of the hot favourites this event. What do you do in that situation, Catherine?
I think, you know you're the opposition you're up against. We always talk about this match racing, only 2 boats in the race, so it's just you and the faster boat in theory on paper ahead of you. So usually what happens is at the start you try to want to give everything you can because you want to unsettle the opposition, you want to unsettle the favourites and see if you can make a mark at that point. So for Tideway Scullers School to already get that jump out and to get that sort of almost comfortable lead, it's very early on, but they've got into the rhythm they want and they're moving away from their opposition, away from Wycliffe. And now for Wycliffe, it's how can you respond? And actually, the main thing is, again, they want to put on a really good, strong, competitive race. They're on the Thursday of Henley. It's a big day to get through to. They want to go as fast and as strong as they can down that course.
You want to shut the door on the crew behind you. This one-on-one race, it's, you know, it's like a gladiatorial race. It's like a boxing match. You want to really, really hammer that home by this point here, the barrier. But Wycliffe, a really strong start from them there. As we're looking down the boat, Georgina Joy, the stroke there. She's saying a good rhythm for her crew, nice and relaxed, nice and powerful. But at the moment, Tideway Scullers have got a couple of lengths on them by the barrier.
Again, like we said, these are good conditions for especially sort of the quad boats. There's 8 blades powering through the water very, very quickly. You want to have the water conditions in your favour. And Wycliffe has a quick glance over the shoulder there just to see what distance it is. Obviously, in the strange sport of rowing, you're going backwards. You can't really get an idea, especially in these coxless boats, exactly where the opposition is. So it's often just a sense check of just how far ahead have they moved.
Yeah, and Tideway Scullers based down on the river there near Chiswick Bridge, and people are watching, or might have watched the boat race. This club is right at the finish line in the boat race. You'll see their club as the crews cross the finish line. So they row on Tideway, tidal bit of the Thames, Wycliffe up on a canal in Gloucestershire. So both crews use some very different water, and tonight they've got an absolute perfect conditions here at Henley. Wycliffe is still keeping their hand in this, but quite dominating race through the middle of the course here, as we see both crews roaring down through the middle of the course there.
And both crews actually in a really lovely rhythm. Both crews have settled exactly where they want to be, rhythm-wise. What you can see from Tideway Scullers is just the blade work is slightly cleaner. It's just that, and it can be small margins at this point in the race that can start to make differences and gaps. So if you look to the blades, they are coming in and out really neatly. There's not too much splash around them. And again, we see how well that water is right now. You want to take advantage of the fast and flat conditions while you have them.
Yeah, you can see just their spoon covering there. It's really easy to lift your hands really high and cover that entire oar. Right now, the Tideway Scullers School here are showing us how to just cover that spoon. It's about efficiency, isn't it?
It is, and what you can see again from those angles, sort of front and back, is, as you say, when you're coming down in the race that's as important as this, it's quite easy to let the tension creep in, and what you often see is shoulders starting to rise, lifting up towards the ears, and that often deepens the blade, so the blade actually goes further into the water. What Tideway Scullers Schools are doing beautifully is keeping it very horizontal, very flat through the water, and that makes it much more efficient.
See Wycliffe still sculling nicely there. Oars are looking nice. You can say slight little bit of splash there from the crew. And exactly that. This is a long race, 2,112 metres. It's about being that little, come to a quiet patch, and then it's going to be the roar of the crowds.
Yes, and Wycliffe being that bit closer to the crowds on their right-hand side, you really do get a lift from, you know, the crowds are so respectful here as well. They'll be shouting down every crew that comes past, deservedly so. They've done brilliant to get to this point in the regatta, and they deserve the roar of that crowd to lift them as fatigue starts really sitting in.
Yeah, we look at the leaders here in the Diamond Jubilee Challenge Cup, Tideway Scullers School, the junior women's quads, the standout crews in this race this week, and they'll be looking to get the job done today on Thursday. They've got a busy few days ahead of them, but still keeping that rate of striking quite high, still being aggressive into these final stages.
It's always an interesting decision, isn't it? And again, you know, coxless boat, you have to make the decision between you. One of the athletes who is still powering out all that energy and effort has to make a decision. At what point do you maybe bring either the rate down or the power down to just conserve some energy for racing tomorrow without letting the opposition think the doors are opened and they're coming back?
Yeah, what will happen after this race tonight, I'm sure all the people that have got through to tomorrow will look at the speeds and the times, the different markers. So Wycliffe, they're still putting some pressure on this Tideway Scullers School, looking very neat and tidy. Just being outclassed by what is one of the fastest crews in the country right now, this Tideway Scullers School, that famous yellow and red of Tideway Scullers. Looking very textbook there as they're coming to the closing stages down the enclosures. A moment to enjoy the race maybe now.
Again, you get the noise of the crowd lifting at this point, and you know they're sort of calling you into that finish line. It's a long race, even in good conditions, so they'll want to enjoy it as much as you can. You're under a lot of physical strain by this point, but you want to enjoy it. These moments do not come around often enough, do they, when you're an athlete? And so these crowds, this weather, these conditions, this incredible historic regatta, you want to soak all that up in these last few meters.
A little bit of practice about keeping calm under pressure, about the technique. You can see there how loose and low they are, this crew in the shoulders. It's really easy in the closing stage of a race to really start grabbing at it. What I mean by that is bending the arms or jumping at the catch. And right now they're in a position to be long, loose and relaxed as they come towards the finish line. Wycliffe come down the closing stages, past the grandstands, back towards the town of Henley on Thames. A great race from Wycliffe there, but again, one of the favourites of the entire race. That's a win in the Diamond Jubilee for Tideway Scullers School of a Wycliffe College B.